Okay, so welcome back to another tutorial. Now, as I said, in this tutorial, we'll be talking about the do while loop. I hope you guys remember whatever we have dealt so far about the for and the while loop because it is very similar to that, but there is a slight of difference between these three. Now, as I told you in the previous one, that for and the while loop are basically similar except from the syntax. The do while loop is actually a bit different when it comes to functionality as well. The syntax is similar to the while loop, but the functionality is quite different. So let's quickly look at the syntax of a while loop. We first have a do keyword, and we have the body here, which again contains the updation as well. And we have the while here with the condition, and the initialization is of course done just before the loop. Okay, so that is the syntax of a do while loop. We have initialization, we have the do keyword, we have the loop body, we have the updation here inside the body, which is again mostly the last statement of the body, and we have the while keyword here with the condition in the brackets. That is what a do while loop looks like. Now, I hope you guys can see the difference, because what happens in case of while loop is that we check the condition at the beginning of the loop, but in the case of do while loop we check the condition at the exit of the loop, right? So do while is basically called an exit controlled loop. On the other hand, the for and while loops are called entry control loops. Now what happens in the case of the functionality is that in the case of a do while loop, the body of the loop is executed at least once, right? Because even if the condition fails for the very first time, it is not checked until the body is executed completely. So the loop actually starts without checking the condition for the very first time. You will understand this clearly if we again try to repeat the same piece of code with the do while loop this time. So let's actually go ahead and print the value of I, and we'll initialize I just before the loop, and the condition was I is less than equal to 10, right? So this was the condition. Now let's see if we are getting the same output again or not. Right, why did that happen? Because we forgot to increment the value of I, right? So the value of I was always 0, and we made something called an infinite loop. Right, so this time we should hopefully get the correct output, and there we go, we get the exact same output for the third time using do while loop. Brilliant. So now I'll tell you guys what is the difference in the functionality between the do while and the other two loops. The only difference in functionality is that in the other two loops, the first statement is initialization and the next is condition. On the other hand, in the case of a do while loop, the first step is initialization, but the next step is the loop body. So what this means is that the body of the loop is always executed at least once, even if the condition fails for the very first time, because the condition is checked after the body has been executed once. So here's the flow of the do while loop. First, the value of I is initialized to 0. The body of the loop is executed, that is, we print the value of I, and then the condition is checked. After that, the value is incremented, condition is checked again, value is incremented, condition is checked again, and it goes on till the condition is true. So again, the condition is checked after the first execution of the body. So even if the condition fails for the very first time, we will get an output whichever is there in the body, right? So this piece of code right here will be executed at least one always. That is the only difference between the for and the do while loop, or the for while and do while loops, right? So that was all about looping statements in C. Now in the next tutorial we will actually be combining whatever we have learned so far into one big program, and we'll try to make something really interesting. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. I'll see you guys in the next one.